Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger episode 31. I almost said 1. We're going all the way back to the beginning. So, I thought this was a pretty decent episode. It was the debut of our all-combined, full-power ZenkaiOh mech that incorporates all 5 of them. And I thought it was fairly enjoyable. I feel like it didn't have as much impact on me as some other people, but I thought it was still pretty solid. So you have this week's monster is like this bull monster that has milk powers. And when you think milk powers, you think erasing things. So he can, like, this is sound gross, spray things with milk and it turns them white. And it, like, erases them, or it can, like, erase tech somehow, because amongst him doing this, it erases the data on the Super Zenkaiser blaster that they're going over, and it also erases Not Navi's memory. I'm not sure how all that works other than to try to give it an emotional beat, because, like, at the beginning of the episode, he's like, oh, there's the secret mode and stuff we need to look into, but then it's erased. So it's a little bit weird, and it's just like not what you would think of when you think of a power with, or a monster with milk-based powers. And amongst that, Hawkheizer is definitely back in full force. He shows up during their first fight with the monster, and he ends up like classic thing where he knocks them into a different setting. Like we're on this like step area, and then we have a kind of a cliffhanger before the opening theme, and then after the opening theme they're in a completely different area. Classic Toku scenario of them knocking them in a different area. And then he winds up fighting Hawkheizer for most of the episode, while everything else is going on with the main monster of the week, like all cutting throughout the episode. Like you'll cut to the Rangers fighting, and then you'll cut back to Zenkaiger. There's too many Kaisers to Hawkheizer and Hawkheizer fighting, and then that leads to a thing at the end where Hawkheizer notices at the very end of the episode that he acts like Kaito, which is something a lot of people in the comments noticed, which I didn't really think about too much last week. I felt it was a little more obvious this week, but I didn't really think about it all that much. Some people think he might be his dad. Maybe, what if Kaito is also a construct? Like, what if both he and Stacy aren't real boys and they're like weird robot hybrid creatures or something? Probably not, but I don't know. He could have just implanted some of Kaito's personality into him. I don't know. It being his dad seems kind of weird, but you never know. Regardless, it's interesting. It made for an interesting kind of little end of the episode cliffhanger, I guess, which was kind of nice. But that's what they're doing the whole episode. Hawkheizer's fighting him while the main action's going on, because Kaito gets really emotional because Not Navi's memories are erased from this weird milk stuff. I don't know why he's so upset. It's not even the real Navi. They know he's going to be fine once the monster is destroyed. So then they go to destroy the monster, and they fight him, and he uses the blaster from last week, and he, I think, is our first summon, because last week it was only Hawkheizer doing the summons. And he summons all, like, animal-based ones, and then they're going to do the finisher, and it was a really funny scene where he's like, here, you guys got to hold me from the back for the kickback, which is just kind of funny. It's a funny reference to the way that always works, like when the Rangers hold the cannon, and the leader will hold it, and the others will just kind of put their arms on him because they don't know what to do, and it's like, for the kickback. And they're like, legit is a kickback. They show it, and they destroy the monster, and then we go for the mecha battle, and we debut the flight mode of the cannon. But then the thing that the professor's been working on, we tease at the beginning of the episode, he's like, I'm working on another new thing. And it's the new Kudatites, and it's like these really bad CGI, bigger, more powerful versions with like solar-looking panels. And in order to fight that, Not Navi's like, you can combine everybody. So you combine the 4 Rangers main mecha, and then, the new flight mode effectively acts as Zenkaiser's mech. He finally gets his own individual Zord. And so they all combine into the full power ZenkaiOh. And, like, look-wise, just talking about the design, it's fine. I feel like it's just right up the same alley as the regular ZenkaiOh. Like, I think it's fine. Parts I like, it's just kind of okay, but the CGI looks bad. It made for a couple fun fight bits, like you could do some acrobatics and stuff, which made the fight more interesting to watch. But just the way the fight looks between both the monster and the mecha reminds me of like when you stumble upon a random like kids network on TV you've never heard of, like the Pineapple Network, and the show's just called Robots! And it's like really bad like PS1 CGI. That's what it reminded me of. Like, I guess they didn't have the budget for the practical suit. So that took me out of it a little bit. I think it looks pretty bad, honestly. Like I said, design-wise, not talking so much about the CGI. It was okay, but I'm not a fan of the bad CGI. It just kind of takes me out of the moment. One thing that's cool, though, is I like that they carry over the way that the blaster's powers work on the ground. Like, it can summon category-based like mecha attacks, like all the machine ones or whatever. Kind of like I summoned the Animal Rangers earlier, like the Science Rangers last week. It summons little individual mecha by category, and then when they do the finisher, it's like this big finisher with all these like force ghosts of all the mecha. So a little fan servicey, but I like the consistency in the way those powers work, both on the ground and in the Megazord. And then we just kind of end with everyone being like, kumbaya, teamwork. And as I mentioned, that scene with Hawkheizer recognizing that Hawkheizer has some similar personality traits to Kaito, which was interesting. But yeah, I thought it was a solid episode. You know, there were some funny bits. The mecha debut was fun. I still really like Hawkheizer. I like teasing that there's more to him at the end. I would give it a 3 out of 5, though. I thought it was pretty solid. It didn't blow me away so much. I thought it was a pretty par for the course introduction episode. But what did you guys think of the introduction of this big mecha? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.